Jerry Flores again, my coach, and yours, Coach Stacy B. Coach, again, it just seems like life is flying by. So this week is flying by. My kids are getting older. I'm getting more grandbabies. Shout out to my son and his beautiful wife. They just shared that they're expecting in March. So super excited about that. But
I
man, it's
didn't
just
see that.
crazy. There's
I
so much
didn't
things going on.
I didn't see that, and my daughter just shared that they're gonna have their first in May.
I seen that.
Yeah,
Congrats. I was going to tell you that. I seen that. So yes, congratulations.
congratulations to you.
Thank you. So obviously anybody joining us now, joining us later. So Thursdays are a recap show. We really just try to recap the week, recap our guest. So we were blessed again with the the humor and sensitivity, both on both sides of the host himself of the Zen Sandwich, Mr. Mark Reed. This is him, y'all. Uh, this is one of his last episodes. Again, the 5 types of people you should avoid. Maybe we'll ask him next time we have him on the show. Along with, I know, Coach, you were pretty intrigued about the trees and like you wanted to go deep into that. So we got to have him come back on to find more about this washi
I wanna know
paper and
growing cycles and irrigation, and I wanna know more about those trees. How do you harvest? Because there's gotta be I bet there's a special way of just getting the bark stripped exactly right.
there
There's
has to be. Oh yeah.
and
I
I'm sure
mean,
there's a
well,
YouTube. I could look it up. I'm sure there's something out there that would show, but I wanna hear it from him. I don't wanna go
I
the
do too.
modern route
Exactly.
of
So, Mark, if you're
Googling it.
catching this, I know you're about to. You're probably. I think you're 11 hours behind. I won't mess that up again. So it's
Ahead,
11 or
he's hitting
ahead.
the conveyor
So
bar for
you're.
the last time.
Yeah, he's at the bar right now, hitting the last conveyor going around. So shout out to Mark again. Thank you for joining us and for just really the fun. It was so much fun. That show this Tuesday was so much fun. I was really surprised by the answers. Again, I had no clue what we were going to expect. so so when he said it was a woman, I'm like, get out of here. Is that really where you ended up out there?
So we had
And then
we had watched the videos and everything, and obviously in the videos the Zen comes out. When we're talking to him, the sandwich came out because I was expecting deep these thoughtful because he's so deep and thoughtful in some of those videos, and
yeah.
so I asked the question and he goes, "As a woman." And then, stupid me, later on, I ask a similar question. He goes, "Well, I already told you it was a woman."
Oh man, it was such a fun show. So again, if you guys did miss it, be sure and go back and check out the channel. It is out there on our YouTube channel. So Summit Mentor and uh, and the Robinhood Capitalist. But well, Coach, I guess let's just get into the show. We'll recap a little bit of what happened with Mark, what we found interesting, and we'll also get into kind of what we have going on next. We got a lot of things brewing over here over at the Robinhood Capitalist. So I'm super excited to share that with everybody and just get this going. So let's go.
You get one heartbeat song. Take it seriously. This is your masterpiece. Don't forget to dream and taste the colors in the air you breathe. It's your masterpiece. Go ahead and feel it all. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful.
All right. Again, don't stop till it's beautiful, y'all. You get the choice to decide. So decide to just keep growing. But man, I kind of want to start with that with having Mark on. Again, we joked. He said it was about a woman, but he really, when we got into his background real quick, you can tell. Like I think there's a lot of people today, and it's seeming, Coach. The more we're having guests come on, we're talking to people like Danielle and Tony, like Mark. They're they're coming to a point in their life in their career. Again, David Koch, same thing, but. Uh, where they're like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, this is not making me happy, not fulfilling me. This is not what I want. I want more. I want different. I want free. And he said that. And that was kind of what sparked him to then find a woman and end up marrying a washi master in Japan. But again, it was the unsettling feeling of like, I don't like this. This is not like, yeah, this is keeping the ball rolling. This is keeping the wheel rolling. But it's not like fulfilling me enough. And I think there's a lot of people that are out there feeling that right now. So again, I was not surprised. Thought that might be what really surprised me was the woman thing, and then the washi paper and how expensive it is. But I wasn't surprised to hear that. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, the word that kept coming to mind to me was courage, and that's why I threw it in one of the questions. How did you have the courage to do it? And you said it was a woman, which I guess that can give us, some of us guys, a little more courage, um, but it takes great courage. And so I was thinking about my own choices that I've made through the years, and I started having the itch to do what I'm doing now in 2011. It was 2021 when I finally made the jump. And what we do is we get these attachments in our lives, and so we get attached to the benefits and to the pay at a job. We get attached to the community and the home and all the things. And when we start to feel that itch, it just makes it so that it does require a certain amount of courage to say, you know what, this isn't this isn't my purpose. I've got a bigger purpose that I'm supposed to follow. And the fact that, and I know he downplayed it, but to move all the way across the globe to pursue something that was completely opposite of his career choices and path up to that point, that did take a lot of courage. And I think it should give all the rest of us a lot of hope that it's something. If our why is big enough, we'll figure out how to make it happen. And he got to the point that this isn't for me. There's something better, and there was a how. He found that way, and he made it happen. But it takes courage, man. I was
Uh,
I
a
was
lot of
reading for a long
courage.
time.
Just moving my family here to Virginia Beach has been quite a transition and experience. So like I couldn't I mean we talked about that. I don't know if it was before or after the show, but you're you're like, how is that how would that be going? I don't even I couldn't even imagine now. I mean, just knowing how difficult this transition was, life always being Cleveland to now we're in Virginia Beach. It's I couldn't imagine. So yeah, courage is I think you nailed it with that, but I think even deeper than that, and I think this is what I want people to connect on what built the courage and what I think gives us the courage of everything. Tony Robbins talks about it. A lot of people talk about it. It's emotion, but it's love. Love, you nailed it. It was the love of a woman that probably helped give courage. And when we have love of what we're doing, or who
or
we're doing it with,
the
or
greater purpose.
whatever,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
there's
greater
a
purpose
love
in our
of a
life.
greater purpose. It will give us that courage. It gives us that we almost feel invincible. It's the I mean, Bruce Lipton talks about it. It's the and Dr. Joe. I mean, it's that honeymoon kind of vibration feeling that if you can stay there, I mean, amazing things happen. I think the universe just starts finding you if you can stay there. So yeah, Mark, again, shout out to the courage that it did take. But yeah, I mean, he knew, he was very aware of what he was feeling. He was like, I'm not happy with this. I want more. I want different. And yeah, the courage to just again, he had the background, he had the knowledge. He didn't just go to some random place and just decide, okay, I'm gonna go here and pick on the map. I mean, he had but still, that's quite a move. So shout out to you, Mark. That
Yeah, he did his research. He and all of that. But there are people that will just throw a
oh,
dart, pick the spot, and make the change, right?
that's
Yeah.
me. I'm guilty. I will say, I wear it as a badge.
So yeah, but no, that's just it's amazing to me, and the mindset that he had to make it happen was really awesome. The um
It
the
really was.
discussions about Alabama, the roll tide, that was a lot of fun. But every e-
That
every
was
every
fun.
direction we went, it just went in a very fun direction. He was great. I'd love to have him back. But seriously, I want to know the
Yeah, we got to
agriculture.
get so Mark. We are going to drill you with some. So be prepared. Next time you're on the show, we're going to get in the weeds or in the roots of it all with the trees and really get down to the nuts and bolts of how that works. Because Coach, again, maybe we bring if it's possible, maybe we bring those trees here to the
Yeah,
sticks, okay? And we start getting washi paper all over. I mean, listen again. I think those doors are cool. If it's the sheets of paper that create the doors, like give me some of those doors. That I mean, there you want to any of our interior decorators, or you're thinking of doing interior decorating. That's an outside of the box thing, guys. Listen, it's the unique niches. You'd be surprised, like luxury furniture. What
yeah,
a niche that is.
yeah, yeah. It was just to me fascinating.
It was. It
I don't
was.
know.
It,
I find a lot of things interesting. So maybe it's just me. I don't know. But it was from the story to the mechanics of the move, the mechanics of the business. All it was just so many facets that we could spend just days talking about. I feel like.
Yeah. So if you guys are curious what we're talking about, again, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me throw this up there so you know where to find us. But yeah, like and subscribe to Robinhood Capitalists or Summit. We check the episode out again. Tuesday episode we're talking about with Mark Reed, the host of Zen Sandwich. But
And if
um,
you're like us and you're saying what kind of paper are they saying? Yeah, that's where we were too. We were looking for wasabi paper. We thought it went in sushi. We didn't know what he was talking about.
yeah, yeah, that's my fault. I had no clue. I'm like washi was shot. I think he said wasabi paper. I'm like, what is that? I never even heard of that. So yes, again, crazy to learn. But again, that's part of what we're trying to do here and show you guys on the Robinhood Capitalist as well. Is always take these conversations, learn these next levels. Maybe washi paper could be the next big thing here. And if it is, and somebody takes that idea, like at least give Mark and his beautiful wife in Japan, like, so let them give you some guidance on how to make that a possibility.
Yeah, and the big takeaway though is just the mindset, and when you're
Yeah,
feeling that itch, whatever it takes, don't um, just be careful. It's the decisions. So many times, decisions you choose not to make, and you think that you didn't make a decision, but you really did. You made a decision not to do it when you put it off, and it's the law of diminishing intent. The longer you wait to do something that you know you should do, the less likely you are to do it because the intent will diminish. And so, man, if you're feeling that itch now, whether it's our show, I
scratch
don't
it,
care. I don't care where
scratch
you
it.
go. Find the information you need and scratch. Yep. Amen,
Yeah.
brother.
Oh yes, and I love that you went with it. Yes, if you do have that itch and you have that feel, if you have that feel again, I say it on the show, but it really is a feeling that you guys. I know most people do have that. I had that for the longest time. Like I hated if you get that feeling. Oh no, it's Sunday. Like you're back in school again. Oh man, I got school crap. Now you're trying to think of how to be sick or how to make up you're sick. You don't feel good. Your stomach. You got a temperature. Maybe you're holding the thermometer under the lamp. You're going to extremes to get out of what you have to face the next week. Like there's something telling you there's something inside you that's telling you either it's just not the right thing for you or you want more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
scratch
There's a
it,
better way.
scratch it, scratch it.
There's a better way.
There's a better way. But and on that, so coach, again, so you never talked about that. So you had a vision of this for since you said 11 years, 10 years, and
Yeah,
now
it was
you
it was 10 years before I made the jump. So in 2011, I'd sold a business and was trying to figure out what the next step was. And the opportunity came available. I became a founding partner on the John Maxwell coaching team and a couple other things. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to make the jump. And it was the attachment to the job, and I was given an opportunity to do kind of the things I love to do, so they kind of scratched the itch for me, and so that was okay for a while, I guess. But
yeah.
I can't imagine where my business would be now if I had 12 years under the belt.
You, and I'm glad you said that, but I think that's where we all get stuck, and that's that. You talked about the law of diminishing intention, or whatever you had mentioned, but that's that really that feeling of like that. Don't go back and like, man. 12 years. If I want to put in the grind for somewhere else, where could this business be? That's the regrets of not pulling the trigger sooner that I think most people just need to not do. Just don't worry about how long it took you to get there. Just jump. You're
And
just jump.
there were a lot of great lessons during that time, so just don't get me wrong. There was a lot of things during that time that set me up to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
So it wasn't like a total loss, but,
yeah,
it never fully scratched the itch. The itch never
yeah,
fully went away. It was
yeah.
there under the surface bubbling, and it just took me that long to do something about it.
Because there is more for you, Coach. This is and hopefully this is it. And guys, so we do have some crazy exciting things going on here. So, Coach has some programs we're putting together. We are again with Coach's background, he does have with the Maxwell and that a program for Think and Grow Rich. So be on the lookout for that. We might have something with that coming soon. So if you're familiar with that, you're hearing that all over the place. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, stuff about the book. We really get into some deeper things and trainings with Coach and what they have over the Maxwell. But
There's some
that's
fun stuff coming. It's gonna be really good. I can
it.
assure you that. I will pour my heart and soul into anything we offer to you guys.
Yes, and again, besides that, next week we have some big things for the Robinhood Capitalists. We're working on a partnership again with Ryan from Client Tether, and doing a charity poker tournament over in around the same time as a big convention and event for franchising. Again, with Coach's
Multi-unit
bet.
franchise, yeah, multi-unit
Yep,
franchising.
the multi-unit franchise conference, huge event going on next year in Vegas, and so we're actually partnering with Ryan to do a poker tournament. So we got that, and we actually next week have on one of the chair members and one of the guys who actually says this is the only conference he goes to. If you're in franchising, if you're watching this now and you're in franchising and you haven't gone here, you better go, because according to him, this is where all the big guys go who are in the franchising space. But so Jesse Kaiser, he'll be joining us next week. I think he's one of the largest franchisees for. I don't want to mess it up, but I want to say it was Little Caesars and another brand in Kansas City, guys. So has quite a few franchises over in the Kansas City area, but he'll join us. He'll give a little more of his background in that world. He actually he'll share a story. He for anybody who's watching this, wondering this next world of craziness going on. He was one of them that at his age took in his 20s took advantage of the .com boom, created some company, made a bunch of money during that. So that's kind of where he got his start, and just grew from there. But can't wait to have him come on and
If nothing else comes of this, DJ, what we have to work out is a live Robin and Capitalist show from the event in Vegas next year.
well, so he did connect us, and if I think it was Diane. And shout out to Jose Castaneda of Castaneda Marketing, but he had connected me to her as well. But she actually oversees and runs the event. So hopefully, if you can, we can get her on as well to share more of the event as we get closer. So we're working on that too. But yeah, we really just want to give all the avenues we can for small business. And if you have that itch, you have that sick feeling on Sundays, like, don't be afraid to figure out what your passion, what your true calling is. A lot of our guests, I mean, that's exactly what they did, from David Koch to IT background of 30 plus years to why am I doing this, to really
Yeah,
finding his passion and really growing something special in Cleveland with assisted living locator, and then even
yeah,
Danielle and Tony.
yeah. We've had
That's
corporate accounting, we've had corporate marketing, we've had IT, we've had lawyer. I mean, it's every walk of life. So if you're feeling this and you think, oh, it's just me, you're not alone. There
yeah.
and there's a path that's been trod by lots of other folks, and we're just trying to help you show where that trail starts so that you can get on it.
And Coach, on the path, I guess let's go on that a little bit, because I think if we have a lot of our audience, if you are in that position, if you do find yourself in the position of like, okay, well, I do have that feeling, but like I'm afraid, or I don't know what to do, or I don't. Maybe you're in IT and you're like, I don't want an IT business. Well, that I mean, for that, first off, that's your first step. Be aware of the feeling, but then the next thing is there's free avenues out there. Patrick Michael Donahue. Reach out to him and the team over at Franchise. That's free. There's no cost, guys. They'll walk you through the process of what is the right step for you, what could be the right franchise, and that's the path I wanted to talk about, Coach. There's a lot of people who do get the urge. I'm noticing a lot of that people, a lot of the same type of business owners that I'm meeting with when I'm networking, that they had that urge, or they decided to take what industry they were in because they were most familiar with it instead of their passion, and then turned it into their business. But then they didn't go a with a system, they went, or a franchise, they went with trying to make up their own systems. But I think that's where a lot of these small business owners are being stuck, is they don't even know what systems they're missing or needing. So that's where I think the and why capital we went with the Robinhood Capitalist name is, I think franchising allows you to not have to come up with that basic stuff that a lot of people end up missing because it's already there and it's proven.
Yeah.
How would you, what would you be your advice to somebody who's new, that is trying to weigh out, okay, well, I have this really cool idea, but there's this franchise that's similar to it, and I just don't like a few of the things that they do. What would you tell somebody like that who's stuck there?
So there's a couple of things, and when you first told me about the Robinhood Capitalist name, it resonated with me because when you think Robinhood, it's from the rich to the poor. We're taking the rich ideas to those who may be poor in the ideas that they have, and helping to build a better life. And that's our goal for everything that we do. But part of this, and this may be a tough message for some listening to hear, but not everyone is meant to own a business and be an entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
so before we get too far along the way, what I would recommend
Okay.
everyone doing is just doing some of that good soul searching to determine, is this really who I am and where I want to go? And so you have to get great clarity on what your future self really, who you're trying to become. You've got to get really good clarity there. And maybe business ownership is your path, and for a lot of people I truly believe it is. But maybe it's a partnership opportunity, or maybe there's something else that you're striving for, that would be an employee relationship. But there's lots of different ways to get to that better life that's out there for you. And so first step I would say is to get really good clarity on where you want to go and who you want to become, and then start looking for the strategies to get there. The next thing I would say is, way back when, in the old days when I was in college, finding information about becoming an entrepreneur was hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of it out there, and so you'd go to libraries, you'd go to bookstores, and you'd have very few choices. And the ones that were there were, very traditional based things, that it was actually discouraging the idea of entrepreneurship in a lot of ways. Well, now we've gone from a dearth of information to too much information. And so,
Yeah.
the reason I tend to recommend people like Donahue and the franchise guys and my buddy Andy Banker is just because they can cut through the noise for you. There's so much noise, and if you start doing this research on your own, what will happen is the overwhelming amount of information out there will just paralyze you. You'll think, man, I don't have time to go through all this. I don't. This looks really good, but so does this, and that one looks even better, and you get confused. And so having
Yeah.
someone to cut through the noise, and they too can help you, on that path of finding your strength, and making sure that your behavior styles and personality are a good fit for the franchise, if that's the route you choose to go. And then the last thing is, if you do choose to go about it and create your own systems and things, nothing wrong with that. That's what entrepreneurs did for a long, long time. But you
Absolutely.
still want to look for a mentor. You still want to look for a proven method that you can follow. Don't just try to make it up out of thin air. You want to find what would be the best practices of that. So seek out a mentor, seek out that good inner circle that can kind of guide you through the process.
Ah, that was great advice, Coach, and I agree. It's you need to focus on your strengths, and shout out to my mom. Thank you, mom. Um, but the advice you gave there, I think is so crucial. But I think the one thing to really focus on is you mentioned the mentoring, and I think I think that's a part that most of us, we, our ego, our our pride, our things get in the way, that we feel like, well, I don't, then I have to give all of this, my who. Like if you feel this at all inside that you don't get any credit because you're just copying somebody else, stop that right now. You still have to do the work. It's just learning through their bad mistakes, their problems, their lessons that they've learned. It's the Alex Hormozy, a lot of these people who are really romanticizing the idea of business. I mean, Gary Vee nails it. It's all you see now. It's like the 20 somethings, that's all they're talking about is business. And guys, I hate to tell you this, that a lot of you corporate American people, there are kids, YouTube kids, and people who are just doing drop shipping businesses and these crazy ideas, who are never leaving their house. They're not even really old enough to have jobs, and they're making a lot of money because this does work. It's just really understanding and challenging the status quo. Just and that's one of the things I loved in my experience with John. And again, your experience said the same. Was even though he had proven, I mean, he had a pretty fine-tuned proven, especially after Liberty Tax, 4,000 franchises, 12 years, it just growing like crazy, way faster than he had it proven. But even him himself is always wanting to know what's the next thing. What is next? Where is everybody going? And I mean, that should tell everybody. Like, he's looking for mentors. This is a guy who he's tried to, in his own way, looking to shake the trees and see what's going on, what's next, what is the new thing, because we always have to be changing.
Yeah.
The world is forever changing. Sales, let me let you guys in on a trick. Inside tip that I've learned over the 50 some companies and training programs and training uh, ways and whatever you want to call them of sales commission jobs that I've worked for is the old school mentality. And Grant Cardone has done a great job with Sell or Be Sold. You haven't read the book, read the book. It will give you a lot of what I'm telling you, but it's the truth. A lot of sales was a lot of what the media, what we can do, what you can do by being very strategic and being in front of people, like Gary Vee talks about, but it's a low cost way to do it now. But just like information was very limited back in the day, the salespeople had an advantage to fool you, and they used very mind controlling, very uh, tried and trusted ways of it was mind control in a way. And it's you look this way, talk this way, copy this, do these things to just fit in, to get them to feel this sense of security, to then boom, I got you. And there is no boom, I got you. Like sales should never be that way. But because of the lack of information that's exactly what it was. So the snake oil salespeople, that slimy car salesman, that this our whole view of these bad salespeople, that's where they came from.
Yeah,
Today,
and
that doesn't work anymore.
that reputation is so undeserved and terrible. But
It is.
I know where it came from. But sales is a very honorable
S-
profession,
Well,
but it
but
was
if we're being
abused.
very true, it's sales is on a very thin line of, are you influencing somebody to make the right decision for them, or are you convincing them or tricking them in some way to make the right decision for you for the commission that you're going to get, and they don't actually need it. And
So what
that's
do you think
why
of
I
this?
think
So what do you think of this, DJ? A lot of people, when they start their business, this is one of the areas they struggle in the most because they have to sell themselves. They have to sell. I mean, to build their team, they have to sell the vision. And so, in a lot of ways, as soon as you make this choice to, I'm working for me. Okay, you're in sales, whether you believe it or
with
not, you're in sales, and they have a hard time switching and becoming. And not looking down on themselves and thinking I'm not cut out for this. So how do we help them overcome that?
I think even take it one step further, again, just from Grant Cardone's book, Sell or Be Sold. But he even explains, like, even if you don't think you're a salesperson, you're a salesperson. If you're a doctor, you went. Shout out, we have some great things coming with doctors, so shout out to that. But we if you're a doctor, you got your degree, you're there. Yes, you have this cushy salary, you think, but if you're not a good doctor, if you don't especially if you have your own private practice and you're not doing the extra things, you're not sending out notes. Here, patient first. Never heard of anything like this place. Got this letter. Got this letter. It's just an urgent care here in Virginia. Just because. took Oakley, my daughter, to the doctors. We had a little bit of a wait. That's just apologizing for the wait, nothing more. Hey, sorry, we know we were busy. I'm like, that's next level. That's giving. Now, if you don't do those things, you're going to lose your clients. It doesn't matter what salary you have. If you're not a good doctor, eventually you have no clients. If you're not a good whatever salary you have, eventually you lose your job. So there are results that you have to get regardless of your commission or salary. So you're a salesperson. You have to sell. You're selling yourself in some way. And that's even dating. Grant Cardone talks about that. You're
Yeah,
dating. Dating is a sale. I mean, you're telling them this is what I have to offer. And that's why I revert back to that a lot. That's if you can approach sales or even your new business, how did you get if you have a significant other, how did you get them? Well, you made it very obvious why you're the right choice. You were always in their face. You were doing everything to give, and you weren't asking or wanting anything in return. That's sales. I mean, that is a sale. There is no other tricks than show them what your value is, believe that what you have to offer is, and I guess to answer your question in a nutshell, coach, that's what I think where most people fail. They have this, either it's the what we all run into when we reach a certain point, that imposter syndrome. Well, can I actually do, is this what I'm doing gonna actually, can I do this? You start to have doubts. You have any doubts, nobody's gonna believe you. So you first, it starts with belief. You have to believe whatever your product is, your service, what you do, what you can do is really going to help.
yeah.
If you have that,
You're on it, man. You're on it. You're absolutely on it. At the retreat with David Perez and his team, we talked about the creative power of I am, and how important the fact is you're never going to outperform your own self ego, your own self identity. And so if we can't start to see ourselves as that thing we're trying to become, you're not going to become. And so that creative power that you just said right there, we have to be able to see ourselves in that position. And and we have to get rid of this idea that it's a bad thing. If I have a product that somebody can truly benefit from, it's not just my job or my business to sell the product. It's a moral obligation. If it's something that can truly make their lives better, it's really important. I'm helping them. If it's not for them, I'm not going to push it on to anyone.
and that's that fine line that has become either the snake oil salespeople. Again, they're just selling these oils a long time ago. These elixirs, magic elixirs, it's going to fix you. And it didn't do anything, but they got, snaked. The car industry is showing with Carvana, all these other businesses. I mean, they've already destroyed that industry to the point. I mean, it's fully, and it's just showing that things have to be transparent. There is no tricking people anymore, guys. Like, if you say there's a value to it, you better prove that there's a value to it. You can't just say it. Like, it doesn't, otherwise the world knows now. Everybody will know.
Yeah,
There is no more faking or fooling people, and that's where I think sales has become more of a, what it should have been seen as the whole time, which is just relationships.
it's
And that's that's
relationships,
that's with
especially
network.
we talk to a lot of smaller service businesses. This especially if you're running a transactional business in your service business, good luck.
Yeah,
If you're just thinking about each sale as a transaction, good luck.
game over.
Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
maybe you're in one of the lucky places. Like growth around where I am right now is so fast that you could probably have a service business and stay busy and be terrible at it. But that doesn't work everywhere, and so it's not a
Yeah.
transaction; it's a relation. Now, if you have the extra time, back to your patient first letter. If you can get to the one on Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, go see Dr. Santa. He's the best. His last name is Santa. He's the best.
Go. Okay, thank you, Dr. Santa. Thanks, Coach. Yeah, we were amazed. So we had like urgent care, but not the like. Let me tell you guys, if you're not from Virginia Beach or you don't have something like Patient First, try to get it where you live. I mean, it's next level. The just what they do, their service, and that's why I kept that letter I share it with clients when I'm talking to them, share it on the show, share it because, and I kept here to go another. Here's another letter I kept. This was from my son's teacher. Welcome to the first grade. So they sent this to sent a postcard with a little handwritten note to all the first graders. That's, again, do teachers need to do that? No. Is that, but does that give parents a does that did that give us a great feeling like, hey, like she really cares and she's going above and beyond doing some extra things? Yeah, absolutely. That's what you want. You want your customer, your client to know that they are the most important thing that there is around, not just because of their money. And that's where that fine line again, the commission breath comes through. People in sales, guys, it's just like anything else. It's just like making a friendship. You make a friend, you meet somebody, and they're constantly talking about something that seems like it's pulling something from you. And I want to talk about that too. I guess we'll go on sales with that and a little deeper in there. Let's just call a spade and connect the dots already. So what you're doing in a sale, guys, is you're asking somebody for their money. Now, to most people, to most of society, money is safety, security, especially today. Money is, there's nobody spending money on anything. And if you don't believe me, just look it up. It's true. Um, but like, so they're holding on to their money like it's life. So you have to really, one, be an honest, good person and truly believe. So you now, salespeople, that's where you're now like our guest. Again, I've never interviewed or done this, but I'm just using my as if I was selling somebody and finding more into them because I'm
So
actually curious.
have you been in the situation where you were forcing yourself to sell something you didn't truly believe in?
Tons, and I quit.
Yeah.
That's why I've had 50 jobs. But yeah, it was literally I was told the story. We made we make this. It's we're the only ones, and then I find out it's not. Oh, I came up with this great idea. They actually stole the idea because of my time with being with the company from somebody else. Landed like if they would have told me, hey, we got this idea from them. Now I'm still all in, but now
Yeah,
I
'cause yeah, we got it
again
and made it better is a great thing.
yeah, but not telling the truth, like your sale, and again, that's testament. You guys have great salespeople. Your best salespeople are gullible as shit, like me, because they believe and want to believe in everything because they want people to believe them. Um, but at the same time, like, guys, if you're that gullible salesperson like me, look for the red flags. Don't get caught selling things that you have this bad feeling. And that was a lot of my shout out to Andy Paul, but he wrote a book, Sell Without Selling Out. We had him on Sales Chatter Live, and that book for me connected so many dots for me. Again,
Sell
I was a
without selling out.
yeah, sell without selling out, and it's really just again, my mindset here, I'll paint the picture, but 20-year-old kid, sales, at the age of 20, I was commission only. Greg, have kids, have a baby on the way, I'm commission only. And in the most Shark Tank world, I mean, I had sales stolen from me. I had to work without saying that I was working because there was a draw and you didn't want to go negative. I can tell you a lot of the deep, dark worlds of that. But what I did learn was that you have to. I used the approach that I was seeing who the top sales guys were, and unfortunately, a lot of the companies that I was at, they were the slimy, fast talking. They really didn't care. They really didn't have belief. Unfortunately, a lot of sales is a lot like it's the highest paid profession for a reason uh, and the most successful. But it's just like wide receivers in the NFL. You're gonna have your prima donnas, and that's what I started to figure out. Okay, these guys are just real cocky. They're the ones who dressed with suits. Again, you see, I don't. This is probably the most dressed up I'll ever be. I hate suits. I hate all that. I had to wear a shirt and tie my whole life for school. Forget all that. But I was copying that because I thought that's who I had to be. Well, they have nice cars. They have these things. They have all this stuff. They're spending their money to look flashy, to just get more in debt. That was the training. A lot of the people I worked for, they wanted you to go in debt just so you sold more. Another mind control thing and another really dirty secret of the sales world. But so I fell for that for a long time. Even at a point, never went throughout my whole school year. First day of school, my name's DJ. It's not David. There was a short period of time that I even went by David because I thought it was more professional. And so I was again just trying to fit this mold. And then it was sell without selling out. And Andy Paul, again, shout out. But I was like, whoa, okay. That's why I hated it. That's why I hated what I was doing. That's why I hated all these things. I hated trying to be that. I wasn't selling, and I was never selling being that way, but I was trying to copy that
Yeah,
because I thought that would make me better. But I was actually just selling by being me. And then
that's
when I
what.
figured out, okay, I just need to talk to people and figure out, and first off, believe. So then I started red flag checking. Okay, is this really your product? Are we screwing people over? What are the reviews? Are people complaining constantly about this? Is the employees complaining constantly about well, then I'm leaving even faster. And so then that's really that world. So again, anybody who's in the world of sales, um, it's a grind, guys. But
But when you take this
the
jump and
sky's
you
the
start,
limit.
yeah, when you take this jump and start to scratch this itch of entrepreneurship, you will
Hmm.
become, and you already are a salesperson in most of the ways of your life, but you will definitely become one. And
Because you
that
have to. You have no choice.
no,
That's you have no
and
choice.
when I do validations for franchises, so I've done some for Liberty, obviously through the years, and now for Focal Point, I'm a validator, and that's one of the bigger questions that comes up is that fear of can I become the salesperson for my business, and again, it's the thing we talk about all the time is you know jab jab hook,
Jab,
you
jab,
give,
jab, right hook. Yeah,
yeah, you give and then invite them to the next step. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be the slimy side of this. But in all honesty, if you can go back, because one of your struggles early on is you didn't truly know who you were. And so
yeah,
you weren't matching your values with the values of the places you were trying to go and work. And
yeah.
so as long as you know truly who you are and what your non-negotiables are, then you can start to make some of those better decisions.
Bingo. Yeah, and that's again learned a lot of it late. That's why I'm such an obsessed person with personal development. Alex Shamozy, I'm shouting out all of these names. Again, I didn't create this today. I was listening to these amazing people and their advice and journeys and lessons and learning through their failures and just not wanting to copy the same thing. And so I learned that again. Even H.
Well, and
Gregg, that was one of the greatest trainings. There was they were very great on product knowledge, product training, and then even just sales training. And I because of Gregg, uh, shout out to them, but they're not don't even exist anymore. They did it. They were trying to do things the right way. They don't exist. Again, there's some secrets to that too, guys. They had no debt. That was one of the things they prided themselves on. Is unlike Best Buy, who is debted to their gills with all their products that they have. Gregg has had no debt, but that's probably why they got out as quick as they did. They kind of seen Amazon in the world that was coming. But yeah, Gregg. I mean, I was selling plasmas. That was when plasmas first came out. We had two. There was a 32 inch and a 42 inch. 32 inch was $12,000. The 42 inch was $17,000. I
it makes
actually,
me, I don't know if do you watch The Office? Do you remember
yeah, yeah,
Michael
I've seen
Scott's
it.
plasma TV that was about
Yeah.
that big? He was so proud of. That's like one of the greatest scenes ever. But but those things were like, yeah, they were through the roof.
Oh, it was insane. And there was so like the box came with a tip meter. If they tipped too far one way, the whole TV was ruined. Like people have no clue how far technology's really come. But let me tell
Yeah,
you, I mean that TV you couldn't even tilt too far a certain way, even in transit. Otherwise, like the screen was done, like game over.
and
Like
they weighed a
you'd have
thousand pounds. They were huge.
They were tanks. They were tanks. I still have one. But yeah, they were tanks. They were super tanks. But again, that's technology.
Yeah,
Technology is an
well,
amazing
and
thing.
that is, I tell you what, that's one of the great things. A lot of times in today's society, there's a lot of arrows slung at the wealthy. But if it hadn't been for the wealthy buying those TVs at 12,000 a pop, we wouldn't have them at 200 a pop right now because they put in the effort to keep
Yep.
that industry going, and that's kind of how life works.
It's sad but true. But yes, absolutely. I mean, Gary Vee was just talking about it in a talk he was on with cell phones. Same thing. Back in the day when he was screaming cell phones, I mean, cell phones were this big bag that were super expensive. Only the rich could afford. But again, that's what planted the seed. Hey, maybe
First
if we
cell
can
phone
make
I
these
ever
things
bought,
more affordable.
the first one I ever bought was literally the Zach Morris one from Saved by the Bell, the big white.
Yes,
Yeah.
no way. You still I remember when they had the Motorola StarTech, and I know if anybody sees this, and you probably still have one of those, because those things were like the most sought after. They're the smaller one that looked like that flipped. They looked like a little shell. But those things were tanks. Those things last forever. I think Nextel was the one who made those things. My goodness, yeah. And now we have. I mean, we have screens that fold in half and do
Well,
all kinds of crazy things. I mean, there's screens I've seen where the technology now is a flimsy, you know, just a piece of paper. It almost looks like so.
yeah,
Yeah, it's technology's not stopping. So again, if you got any
get on the
advice from
train
this, get get on the train. Get on the
now.
train. Don't let it run you over.
Before I forget about it, we talked about finding a mentor if when
Yeah,
whatever. So if you're not going to go the route of franchising or something that's buying an existing business, something where there's a plan in place and you're looking for a mentor, don't be afraid to shoot for the moon. The first story I ever heard that taught me about this was from John Maxwell, and he started life as a pastor, and he's still a pastor, but he found a secular audience with this leadership message, and but he was at a small church and he wanted to grow. And so what he sought out were the 10 most successful pastors at growing their congregations, and he offered to pay them for their time. And this was at a time where he had no money, but it was worth the investment to pay them for their time. And it's just a handful of them that said yes. The others pretty much ignored it, but that handful that said yes changed his life, changed his trajectory, and has I mean, he now owns and runs or his name is on the largest coaching system in the world. He's impacting lives all over the world. When I
yeah.
was on the mission in Romania, there was actually a Maxwell event going on the other side of the country in Romania for the Romanian Maxwell team.
No
Um,
way.
but a lot of that started by him seeking out mentors in an area where he wanted to grow, and they were people that he didn't know. He just offered a way to get in front of them. So my question to everyone listening is who do you need to get in front of, and what are you willing to do to make it happen?
Yes, yes, coach. And I'm glad you went there with that because Alex Hormozy, shout out again to Mosey Nation and Alex. But I mean, the way he started that whole thing, college degree kid, ended up in some very high end military, sound like a cool job, like he explains, but he hated it, wanted to do his own thing. He was only following what his dad wanted him to do because his dad was a lawyer. But he then, because he had no background, but he knew his passion was working out. And obviously, you see, he's a freak of nature and works out a lot and loves it. But um, he then reached out to successful gym owners, and that's how he got his launch with Gym Launch. Was he then offered to work for free? So not even like you said, finding a mentor, but he said, "I'll work for you for free. I want to know how to actually run this gym, do this, and do these things." And again, don't be afraid to offer that because the most successful business owners out there, there are people who want to share that knowledge. They want to pass that on. They want you to ask those questions. So if you do know somebody in your industry that is killing you, like don't be afraid to reach out and say, hey, how are you doing this? What are you doing? Offer whatever your skill, whatever your gift is to help in some way. If you're good at something that you tell that they might need some help with, lead there. But try to get in there and try to learn as much as you can. That's that was the greatest advice I ever learned from H. Gregg. I mean, that's what I followed everywhere that I went was H. Gregg. I knew who the top salesperson was. I went right to him. I said, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And then in logistics, did the same thing. Who's the top? I went right to them.
Yeah.
What are you doing? How are you doing it?
The very
And
best
that's
franchisees that came through one time, one of the shows you asked me, could you tell who was going to be successful or not? Well, one of the tells on the ones that were going to be successful is they were asking, who's the best? I want to talk to the best. The ones that I worried about were the ones that would ask questions. Well, what's the average that people do? Because they're already limiting their beliefs when they're kind of planning
mm,
around average. I mean, who wants to be average, right? Uh,
oh, I
and
never. I'm glad you said that. I never caught that. But yeah, if they're asking what the average is, they're already just wanting to know if they can settle and be okay with average because they just
right,
want to.
they're already in their own mind. They're already settling for less than the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. This is
Now,
fun.
but hey, but one before we go, one thing you said right
Yeah,
there I
yeah.
think is incredibly important, and I wish I could. I was sitting here trying to get the exact statistic. I can't in my mind. I'm having a bit of a lapse here.
No
It's the
worries. We'll
it's the
we'll
grandfather.
we'll we'll,
It's the
we'll share it
grandfather.
after.
But there are statistics that will show you a lot of the greatest leaps that individuals have taken started with a step back. And that's what's tough because are you willing to sacrifice a salary for something more, to jump in for free, to work with someone to learn the ropes? Are you willing to sacrifice the time? But so many times that step back
Mm.
leads to such a great leap forward if you're just willing to take the risk and do the right thing.
Yes, the step back is you obviously you led me right to another story that changed my life. But so Rich Dad and his whole story. But again, listen to the. I don't know if it was the actual his main book, or if it was fake or one of the other ones. But he shares him and Kim's experience through becoming retired at the age of 40, and then ended up, because multiple businesses failed, ended up him and Kim are staying on people's in basements and on couches, when everybody's telling them, why don't you just go back and get, like, you left a good job to try to do what you're doing, like go back and get your good job. And they're like, no, we believe in this. So for 7 months they went through the grind. And now again, Rich Dad, I mean, everybody knows who he is, and all the books and Cash Flow Game and yeah, Rich Dad Radio, and again, their success in their real estate ventures and everything they do. That was that pullback. That was that step back. That it's 7 months. I mean, they were getting blasted from everywhere. People telling them, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
You've ruined your life.
You're ruining everything." Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, it's just a belief. So if you have that belief, if you feel like Rich Dad, if you feel like anybody in that situation, that you're like, okay, yeah, there is more. Like, don't let it fight you. If you can face that step back, if you're in the position where you're just ready to take that next step, reach out to people like we shouted out. Reach out to us. Reach out to Coach. He'll give you a half hour of his time to just go through the weeds, break down. Are you ready for this? What is your clarity? What is your mission? And just going back to that too, Coach. I think you nailed that with knowing where you're going. Again, if you feel lost, you might not even have a clear goal yet. So clarity and first principles and just understanding where you're going is the only way to get there. So you have to first have a goal or target in mind. If you just feel like there's more, you're feeling lost, but you don't actually know where you need to go, then definitely reach out to Coach, because
And
we will at least help you find the clarity of what is that feeling or that thing you're having inside, and where it might be directing you to go. And we'll
the
try to
good
get that out of you, at
the good news
least.
is all of these things are processes. We don't achieve goals. None of us achieve goals. We grow into the goals. And so there's a
Mm,
process of personal growth, personal development, professional growth and development that takes place. But once you know what the goal is, then it's easier to say, okay, well, these are the steps to grow into it. Now the hard part is neither DJ nor I can do your reps. You got to put in the reps.
gotta put it. Yeah, gotta put them in. You gotta believe it first. All I'll tell you is, whatever you end up deciding to do, make sure you believe it completely. There's no in the middle. If there's any message that I can get through to anybody today, quit playing in the middle. Be all in or all out. Don't be in the middle. Being casual only causes casualties. Don't be casual with anything.
You
Business,
remember
life,
remember back
relationships,
to
or anything.
remember back to our first show, Mr. BYOE himself said,
Yeah,
be bold, take
you
a
have to.
stand,
Yeah,
let
yeah.
people know who
Don't.
you are. Yeah.
Yes, be bold. Yes. And so, again, shout out to Mark Reed and everybody. Thank you to the guests who are on here with us, and Mom. Thank you. Love you. You made me this crazy believer that I am. But
And so,
um,
so, so the way we're tracking with the grandkids and all this stuff that's happening, if we ever do get together for a show, we're in the same place. It's going to be in rocking chairs as we're yelling at kids on the lawn or something. But we'll have to do
uh,
the granddad show.
you ain't joking. This is crazy, Coach. But it's life. It's fun. Listen, life isn't easy, guys. We keep telling you that, and it's not simple. But you can simplify it if you find clarity in your goals. You find the direction where you want to go, and then you do everything you need to go there. You will get there. Don't be afraid to take the step back. Just like I'm stealing some of post I have, future post I have it's the pullback is the arrow, and an arrow, you have to pull back for it to go forward. So
And if you know nowhere else to go, there's a couple of guys here that are willing to be your tour guide and help you out. Just let us know. We want
we'd
to help.
love to. Yes, we'd love to help. So please, again, there's no cost to reaching out to us. Shout us out. Connect with us on LinkedIn. Connect with us on the Robinhood Capitalist. Wherever you can, just reach out. We do want to help. Give guidance. Help you get out of that uncomfortable feeling. This game of life is you versus you. We just want to help you get out of your own way so you can get to the goal that you want to end up being. And we want to help you get there, because we want you to bet on yourself. So, Coach, final thoughts, and we'll wrap this up.
Man, I think you nailed it with those final thoughts right there. So this was fun. I love these open flow conversations that we have. I never know which way it's going to go, and so
It
these
could
are
go so many ways. We
yeah,
obviously we both have a crazy passion for this whole personal development, and never stopping. And that's all I would tell you. If you feel like you're stuck, guys, out there like I did for so long, don't feel like you're crazy because you feel like you have to work, or you're one of those people. Because there are people who enjoy their rest and their time of doing their leisurely things, taking care of a yard, taking care of these different things. I'm not that person. I just want to keep growing and helping people grow, and I know that now. I'm very aware of that. It's never going to stop. So I'm just find your focus, find what you want to do, and really just run with that. You'll have so much fun. Life will be so much more enjoyable, more fulfilling, and it really will just have opened doors you never thought were possible. So, Coach, yeah, this was awesome.
Anybody leaning toward leisure, I'll be your yard work and fishing guy. So we'll kind of talk on the opposite side from DJ.
Yes, yeah, yes. Coach will take care of that for me, guys. But yes, again, guys, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Coach. This really was fun. I love doing this. It starts the day so great and gets me just motivated. It's kind of like a training. I think that's what I love about this. It's like going into a training. Anybody who's in sales, you go into a training, you come out like ready, guns blazing. You're like, you got this strategy, you got everything. And then you come out crushing it, and then all of a sudden you fall back to your old ways, and you start skipping some steps and doing some things. So if you notice yourself there too, you're not all of a sudden terrible at sales, guys. You're just skipping some basic things. Go back to the basics. Always remember, connect the dots. They'll lead you to where you want to go. But all right, Coach. Jesse Kaiser, be ready, guys, next week. Can't wait to have him on the multi-unit franchising conference. Going to plant the seed for Diane Phibbs. And please tag her. We want her on the show so we can hopefully do an event or do something from the show or from the conference. We really, again, after talking to Jesse, I'm excited to hear more about the conference. He is on the board there. He's a chair member there. Been going to it for a while. Can't wait to hear his story, his journey, and share it with everybody on here. But to anybody out there, if you're, again, feeling like life is beating you down, we're Thursday, Friday's coming, the weekend's here, but you get that feeling, don't have that feeling anymore, okay? Please watch the Robinhood Capitalists, reach out to Franchise, reach out to these people that we're connecting with, join the Good Wolf community on Facebook. But really just reach out to people, find a mentor, find what you want to do, where your passion is, and chase it with everything. And go all in, like we talked about. David Perez.
All of a sudden, thank God it's Monday, and you'll get the switch.
Yes. Thank God it's Monday. Get that feeling. When you have that feeling, you know you're in the right place. So to everybody, have a great weekend. And hopefully on Monday, you all are saying, thank God it's Monday, like we are here at the Robinhood Capitalists. So.
Yeah.
I'm always on the red eye. This time around, it's not even about getting paid. I'm just